Hello everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Life at Better. So I am Nikita and today we have Sayan Bhattacharya with us. So he's been like working on building and improving our products at Better Software. So let's talk to him and know more about his experience and his journey at Better. So hi Sayan.
Hi Nikita.
Okay, so although we know that you're working at Better, would like to know more from you. So can you just let us know what you're working on and what kind of experience you had with Better till now?
Sure, let's do that. So, first of all, thank you very much for having me. My name, as you've mentioned, is Sayan Bhattacharya, and I'm working as a software engineer here at Better. I started my journey in the Jan of last year, 2025, where I first joined as an associate software engineer, which in Better is the role for an intern. So I joined here as an intern, and initially I was allocated to the infrastructure team where I was working on maintaining our open source templates, which we use to bootstrap client projects. Once I had completed, I think, 2 months in the platform team, I was switched to a client project, and ever since I have been working on that same project. The details of the project, if I were to share it very bluntly, it's we are working on building an AI based e commerce analytics tool which right now in beta and is used by a lot of the big players in the US market. And they are big Amazon sellers. So that's the tool that we are building right now.
Okay, that's really amazing. Seems like you have been working here as an intern, then converted to a full time. So
Yes.
I believe you might have grown here, right? So how
Yeah.
was your growing journey?
So it was a very awesome growing journey because when I joined, I came with limited knowledge of programming, limited knowledge of how to build production grade applications. Because the only applications which I built before joining Better were either freelance applications or things which I built for my college and other personal projects. There was no application that I built which was used by thousands of people at scale, which is what happened right after joining Better. Because when the first I was moved to the first client project, and I got to know the requirements. Immediately, the first thought which struck me was, well, this project is going to be used by some very large corporations and people who
Right.
have thousands of customers on Amazon. And hence, it was challenging, definitely. But there was a big learning curve in here. The fact that I was able to join and immediately I was able to get exposure to such a big project, it's a huge deal for me as well.
Right, right, and that sounds really amazing. Okay, so Sayan, like, what does your like daily productive day looks like?
So, to begin my day, the first thing that I do when I come online is I review the requirements and I see what is my plan for today. At Better, and especially in our client project, we follow a 2 week sprint cycle, and hence there are some targets that we have to achieve in those 2 weeks. Like there are a set of features, some tasks, some bugs that need to be fixed, and so on. And it is up to us to divide that work among the days that we have and work on those. So the very first thing which I do when I come in the morning is I review my plan. Then the other important thing is to share our PPP, which in Better we have our personal productivity plan. We share that at the beginning of each day where we share what was the progress from the last day, the plan that we have for today, and any problems or blockers that we have, if any. And at the end of the day, we come back and share a quick update so that the team is aware of what we have been doing and everyone, including the client, is aware without us having to spin up a meeting every time to share those progress updates. Once I'm done sharing my PPP, we usually have a sync up meeting in the morning where our product manager and all the engineers in our team we join. We sync with each other. We try to understand what others are working on, what we'll be working on. If we have any questions for each other, if we have any blockers, we try to get that resolved by working with others. And once we are done, we start at least I start working on my tasks for the day. I continue to work on my tasks, then there's a lunch break, and in standard working scenario, you have a couple of breaks here
Right,
and there.
right.
Yeah. So working on those tasks, researching, doing R&D, then coming back and implementing it engineering wise. And at the end of the day, what I like to do is I like to tally what I have done for the day and share that as an update with possible demo, if any. If I'm building a user facing feature, I like to grab a quick screenshot in order to show my progress. That's pretty much how a day looks like here.
Okay, so you have already like described your day, like how it looks like. So what's your favorite part of the day, I would say?
The favorite part of my day, I think, would be the afternoon work hours because it's at that part of the time where there are not a lot of meetings and hence it's uninterrupted focus time. Like if I'm solving a difficult problem which really requires me to focus and get away from all the other distractions. I think that's a very strong focus time, the afternoon hours.
Okay, that's interesting actually. Okay, so I'll be asking a particularly engineer question for our new joinees, I can say, or the candidates who are looking to join us. So,
Sure.
like, how, since you have been working at Better for an year now, and you know how we work, right? So, according to you, how to write an effective code?
I'd say the definition of effective code will be subjective. However, in my personal opinion and based on the strategies that we follow at Better, effective code is something that someone else is easily able to maintain in your absence. It should not be that I created a feature in an application and when the next person comes and tries to maintain that code, that person is clueless and he has to spend a week in order to understand what's going on in the code. From day one, it should be very clear to the person what's going on, what are the different analogies that are being followed, implementation specific information, if any, which we like to put there as comments. But again, we do not like to put too many comments in our code because the obvious everyone is able to understand. And at that point, it's basically spam and it reduces readability of our code. So yeah, in my opinion, any code that someone else can maintain in my absence is good code and effective.
Okay, yeah, that's true because people do change, and sometimes someone needs to pick up in between.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a good thing, I would say. Okay, so since we are working remotely and you have never been to office at Better, and right, so how does it sounds like working remotely for you? Are you enjoying this, or you want to be at office?
I mean, obviously, working remotely has a lot of perks. Like, I can't even begin to list down the perks that it has. We can, especially at Better, we have the flexibility to work at any time we want. It's not
Right.
like we are restricted to a 9 to 5 job. We could start at 9, we can start at 8, we can start at 11, someone starts during at noon. It doesn't matter. As long as you do your work sincerely and you have a certain amount of collaboration hours with your team, because of course, when their collaboration is needed, everyone needs to be present. So as
Right,
long as
right.
that is met, I think we are very flexible with our work policy. And hence, it's really good because let's say if there is an emergency and I need to step out, in a office scenario, it would be very difficult for me to come back to my house and then step in to see. Here I am
Exactly.
at my house. Yeah, I can take charge whenever it's necessary. I can run small errands whenever necessary. It gives me a break, as well as I can get the job done, as well as like it helps me refresh. Take my head off the coding part for a bit, come back, and then I feel re-energized to continue my work. So yeah, working remotely definitely has a lot of perks, and it's not like we have any shortage of collaboration or communication tools. We have Slack, we have Teams, we have really anything. You can just call your colleague and talk to him if you want to. But yeah, the only thing which is, in my opinion, is missing in remote work is obviously the physical interaction. Getting to, sit down, share a cup of coffee, and talk to the other person. But again, that being said, I would say this that everything has its upsides and downsides. Physical office definitely has a lot of upsides, but it also has many downsides, which remote work
Right.
like it fits in. So it's whatever the situation is. I guess it's best to blend in and try to accept that to the best of our ability.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so I would rather say like you would prefer more like remote role more than the on-site, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So I might prefer physical role, but when I think about the perks, it's ultimately the remote role that I'll lean towards.
True, true, true. Okay. So, Sen, I just wanted to know what is the new habit you have developed after joining Better?
Sure. So one of the big changes, and in this case, habit that I developed after joining Better, was something called self-review. So whenever we, as engineers, we write some code, we raise a pull request, and we ask others to review. What happens is 90% of the times, if we just simply read the code once on our own before asking someone else for a review, we can easily find out 2 to 3 things that we know that we would fix. But we rely on someone else to point that out and then we fix it, which results in unnecessary time waste and it results in friction as well. So self-reviewing the work that we do is very important. Like even just going through it once, it doesn't even take 2 minutes, but it can
Right.
definitely save like hours of time. That is one of the habits that I developed after working at Better. I definitely review at least 1 or 2 times I definitely review my own work before I ask someone else for.
That's a good habit which you implemented, I must say. Great, great. Okay. So I would not say a game, but a quick challenge for you, I would say. So I would like you to explain the concept of like any work without using the technical words. For
Okay.
example, if you want to say a bug, you cannot use the word bug. What would you rather say? Like not only for bug, you can explain the concept without using the technical words.
Sure, sounds good to me. So let's say you are driving your car on the road and you're going with your family, you're having a great time. Let's say you're going to a holiday destination. And all of a sudden you hear a bang and your car breaks down. You have to pull over to the side of the road. So let's say you're calling your tow truck company or whomever to come and please help you out. And let's say the issue was something with the engine or your tire went flat or anything. That is exactly what is a bug. Something that occurs unexpectedly when things don't work. When you set off on the trip, you were not expecting to break down at the side of the road, right? And have your car
Right.
towed. You were expecting to get there with the family, have a great time, come back, and get back to whatever you were doing. When something happens unexpectedly, which obviously no one was prepared for, but ultimately you have to face that situation and try to fix it to the best of your ability. That's what a bug is in non-technical terms.
Okay. Anything apart from bug?
Anything apart from bug?
Any other technical word?
Any other technical word? Right. Let's talk about the word algorithm. I think there is a lot of taboo around this word algorithm because people think it's some sort of cryptic code. I ask my friends a lot, and whenever I come up with the word algorithm, they imagine, those TV commercials where a hacker is setting and then in the background there are like 5 screens
Right.
running with words running from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen. And that is what they imagine. So that is definitely not what an algorithm is. An algorithm is, simply speaking, let's say, do you enjoy cooking?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. So if you enjoy cooking, you will put your ingredients in a certain order, right? You will, let's say you will start with chopping the vegetables. If you are a non-vegetarian, you will then proceed to the meat. If not, if you are a vegetarian, you will go get the paneer or something, and then you will mix them in a particular order with some particular spices. Then you will put them on the heat for some particular amount of time. Everything has to be specific. That is exactly what a recipe is, right? If you start playing with those variables, like if you, let's say, overcook, then the food won't taste nice.
Exactly.
Everything has to be in order and in some particular quantity. That is exactly what an algorithm is. In code terms also, writing code that follows a particular order and runs for a particular amount of time or does a particular thing, that is exactly what an algorithm is.
Okay. So these days people used to say for Instagram as well that the algorithm is already set, and we used to
Yeah.
like see those ads.
Yeah. So the way these algorithms work is pretty simple. If I make an app, for example, if I'm the creator of Instagram, I have entire control over the app. I can
Right.
even track which part of the screen that you are clicking. When you are inside my application, obviously I cannot track you using another app. For example, if you are using, let's say, Snapchat, I can't track where you're clicking in Snapchat, but I can
Right.
track where you're clicking in my app. Those are simply called analytics. And these analytics are what is taken and they are fed into an algorithm, which is basically a bunch of code put together, which does something in a serial order. In this case, they try to find out the user's preference. And let's say at some point of time, there was an ad regarding a vacation and you clicked on it. The algorithm assumes that you were interested for whatever reason. It does not
Right.
mean that tomorrow you are leaving for that vacation. Let's say you were interested. So it will try to push vacation related ads more in your feed. That's
Exactly.
just how advertisement and anything for that matter in the online world works. Yeah.
Got it, got it. That was really great, Sayan. So, do you have any advice that you would like to give to our new joinees, or maybe the candidates who is applying for better, or one thing that you would like people to know about working at better?
Sure. Working at Better, aside from the great experience that it already is, I feel at Better we are able to get a lot of ownership of the project or the code that we are working on, which in my opinion is missing in some of the big corporations or giants if they are working. Because it's natural if there is an established leadership and there is an established hierarchical structure. Naturally, everyone will have very specific designated work. But with the AI revolution and working in a team such as Better, we constantly try to innovate, find out better ways to do the already existing tasks. And hence, I feel it's very important to be able to take the lead role. It's not like you will be given a role with the designation of, let's say, an engineering lead. But you can definitely step up. You can take it upon yourself to go investigate, find out the solution, and come back with the results without someone having to constantly assign you tasks. That I feel is one of the major advantages of Better. I would honestly say this, it sets you up for bigger things in life. Because if you are able to take the end-to-end responsibility of building a feature without someone constantly having to be on your back about it, then you already have a big trait which many people are missing, and that is leadership.
Okay. You can give like any advice for the new joinees.
Sure. So one of the advice that I'd give to a new joinee is that working at Better is already a great experience in itself, but also you get a lot of exposure as a leadership role, because I feel in large corporations with an established hierarchical structure, it's very difficult to, innovate and take initiative to do things that you would like to do. But again, you are already assigned a very specific set of tasks, and there are like thousands others like you. So it's very difficult for management to come and individually appreciate something, an initiative that you take. But at Better, the way our team is organized, we are able to take end-to-end responsibility, and this is encouraged in here at Better. We take end-to-end responsibility for our tasks. We try to innovate, research, and complete it ourselves. And especially, I feel in the AI revolution that is going on in the world right now, this is a very important. It's a very important trait, a very important something that you can have, and that is leadership.
Right. Ownership, responsibility, leadership. Like, these are the most basic and important things so the
Yes.
person can grow as well as the company can.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Sayan. It was really nice talking to you, and thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So this was Sayan, and for the next episode, we'll come up with the next person. Thank you. Be there for the next episode. Thank you. Bye bye.